Good morning. It's that time again, ladies and gentlemen. Time for the pre-market PulseScan with yours truly, Dex the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave Price Trigger Reports, where we put it right in your hands each and every trading day. That's what we do. That's how we roll. Peace to everybody out there in the live chat. Don't forget to hit that like button. Smash that like button. And also don't forget, we do have a webinar, a live trading webinar. I do believe it's a live trading webinar. And that's going to be at 11 a.m. And it is open to everyone who is down with us at PulseWaveTrading.com. You can go to the website and check out the login details. We're going to get it in. It should also be noted today that don't forget, this week is FOMC week. So tomorrow is the FOMC announcement. We will get their biased opinion on interest rates, the economy, markets, etc., etc., etc. So we are going to be really seeing, waiting to see what they got to say on that. In the meantime, let's just get into these markets. All right, so in the overnight markets, let's go ahead and get the screen up for you so you can see it, as we like to be very specific when we're going in on this. And give me just a second. I got to do something else here. A little bit of housekeeping. If I don't do it enough, let me make sure I am doing it enough. 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard New York time today, we are going to be doing that live webinar. You're not going to want to miss it. This is what we go in. We do what we do, man. You definitely don't want to miss it. That's all I got to say. You don't want to miss it. What the saying go? Be there or be square. Remember those sayings? Be there or be square. Well, that's how we're going to do. All right. Well, let's see here. Okay, we're gonna go right here first. All right, overnight markets are as follows. The mini Dow futures is down 329 points at 27,198. Nasdaq 100 futures are down 29.5 points at 98.55 and a quarter. E-mini S&P 500 down 32 points at 31.95 even. Russell down 26.7 points at 1510.3. Bitcoin futures composite index got real close to that 10,000 mark. It's currently up $30 at 98.10. The overnight high was 99.85, just 15 bucks off of that 10,000. Nat gas down a penny at $1.77. Crude oil down 10 cents at $38.10 a barrel. Long bond is now up 1 and 20 seconds, trading at 174 and 16 seconds. Gold futures up 18.5 bucks at 17.23 and 50 cents. Silver is unchanged at $17.89 an ounce. Looking at the dollar is unchanged. I'm sorry, no, that's silver. My bad. The dollar is up 6 pips at 96.68. The euro dollar is off 4 pips at 113.02. Pound sterling off 56 pips at 126.70. Aussie dollar off 85 pips at 69.37. Canadian dollar up 73 pips at 134.54. Euro yen is off 50 right now, trading at 121.91, so off 50 pips. Dollar yen off 57 pips, trading at 107.86. And the New Zealand dollar, better known as the Kiwi, it is off 75 pips at 64.85. Looks like the currencies are definitely in corrective mode after just going straight up. Taking a look at food, looking at soybeans. Soybeans are off 3.25 points at 861.5. Corn is off 2 3/4 points at 331, and wheat is off 4 3/4 points at 506 3/4. So that's a look around the markets. As you can see, for the most part, everything is pretty much correcting a little bit. People taking some profit off the table ahead of the Fed tomorrow, which is to be expected, especially when you have the Fed coming out tomorrow. And anytime the Fed comes out, no matter what you may think, how you may feel, whatever, okay, they can always surprise. All right. The Fed has always been known to surprise from time to time, and now is no different. All right. So just something to think about as we go forward. We just don't know what's going to happen. Okay. We do not know. It is an unknown. Even if you do know what they're going to say, let's just say you already knew that they are not going to raise rates. Let's say you knew that. But the thing that you don't know is how the world is going to react. You don't know what's going to happen, how the market's going to take it. So if you knew what the decision was, that's nice. What you don't know is the words that are going to be used to describe things. So that's something to think about. All right, overnight market news. European stocks plunge after the continent reports its biggest ever GDP drop. Global stocks painted a mixed picture on Wednesday, with the European stocks pushing down due to gloomy Eurozone GDP results, and stocks in the U.S. looking likely to follow suit at the open. Robinhood traders are piling into Hertz, JCPenney, and other bankruptcy stocks despite the massive risks. Robinhood traders are piling into Hertz, JCPenney's, and other bankrupt companies despite the overwhelming odds that shareholders will be wiped out during court proceedings. I got to come in here. I can't just let that rock. All right, you guys. Now, first of all, I want to say the listeners to the pre-market PulseScan are the most conscientious, some of the brightest listeners in the world. I believe we have the best and brightest listeners in the world. We have a wide variety of people that listen, and we're very thankful for that. But you just can't come up with these headlines and just think that we're just going to look past them or not deal with it or not comment or something. All right, we miss nothing here on this report. And what I do miss, the peoples are right there behind me, and they will send me stuff that I need to know. Like I said, I am still sorting through all of the video footage that the listeners have been sending me. My private messages and emails blowing up. Every time I turn around, I got something else I need to investigate and look into. And this Robinhood situation is no different. I'm beginning to think there's something that is just not right going on with this Robinhood app and the whole Robinhood altogether. Now, I know somebody will say, well, did you know a black man is behind that? And blah, 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 blah. Look, man, we got to deal with this. Robinhood has been in the news non-stop. All right? Non-stop these past few months, ever since of the COVID lockdowns. Robinhood has not ceased to be in the news, normally on the wrong side of the news. In other words, the platform shutting down, people not being able to access their money, being stuck in positions they can't liquidate, can't put stops in, can't liquidate, can't access account, all this stuff. Then all of a sudden they start flipping the script. Now the platform is working fine, and they're in the news because people who are using the app, or their information is being put out there for the world to see. And they're trying to spin the company now in a positive light. And they're trying to make it seem like these retail traders, mostly, of the millennial generation, whatever, are the ones using the app, and all of a sudden they're geniuses. They're trying to make it seem like if you use this app, you're one of the people that are making money in the markets. If you use this app, you're smarter than everyone else in the market. We got the best traders in the world using this app. That's kind of the spin that they're putting on it. This is not the first time we've heard Robinhood in the news when it comes to what their traders are buying and selling. Now, to be 100% fair, other brokerage firms have been known to put that information out. Like they'll say, all right, customers, retail traders that think or swim, the net longs are in Apple or something like that. So that's not the new. But what I'm talking about here is they're really trying to spin things in a different light these past couple of reports that we've been getting. They talked about how they were in the airline stocks. They talked about all these different things, right? All of a sudden, now Robinhood has been around for a minute, but they have never been in the news like they have been until recently. So you're not hearing about the massive outages anymore. You're hearing about how their traders are in particular companies, and despite something, and how they're making so much money. The last time we talked about it, the last article was saying how they made a killing in this during the COVID lockdown, blah 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 blah. Okay, so they're trying to paint the picture now. They're trying to rebuild Robinhood's image because of all the outages, and the way they're doing that is trying to say that all their traders are the best so they can get more people, since people have been leaving and going to real brokerage firms. So I get the spin that's going on here with the Robinhood situation. So I'm just saying, I believe that this is they must have hired a firm to help put them in a better light, and so they're spinning it now. Any stock that's been up the last few days or a couple of weeks, they're going to say that their Robinhood people are responsible for it. Now, you may say, "Oh, that's a stretch," but it's not, because a few days ago they came out. They were in the news again, and they were saying how well their traders have been doing buying up these COVID stocks. All right, so let's not forget that. So this is just more spin. They're trying to put the company back together, trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Now they're trying to make them seem smart because they're buying companies that are bankrupt. Now, mind you, this is flying in the face of real business journalism that has told you that a lot of the big players have been on the sidelines during this run up because they're waiting for this thing to run out of steam so they can pound it into the sand. Now, the market being down a little bit today is not that, because all it is a pullback from running up. We have not established a true sell signal just yet. So I just wanted to put that out there too. We don't miss things here. All right. Hedge fund in Hong Kong are considering pulling out over fears that China's new security law could ruin their operations. Now, see, I talked about this before. Hong Kong is like the New York of the middle, of Asia. So if you take that away from them, yeah, people are going to start pulling out. I told you this is one of my biggest concerns. If the people start pulling out, where's that going to leave Hong Kong? Hedge fund managers in Hong Kong are working out plans to withdraw from their usual operations in the city as China prepares to enforce its draconian new national security law on semi-autonomous region. The Financial Times said on Tuesday, HSBC cuts year-end 10-year UK gilt yield forecast to 0%. HSBC said on Tuesday that it had been lowered its year-end forecast on 10-year British government bond yields to 0%, given a small probability of negative interest rates and a sense that the rates will stay low for a long period. Once again, once Humpty Dumpty falls off the wall It's impossible to put them back together again. S&P revises Japan's outlook to stable. S&P Global Ratings said it has revised Japan's outlook to stable on increased uncertainty around debt stabilization. Japanese traders gird for Fed to anchor yields, clip dollars' wings. Japanese investors have clipped the wings of a resurgent U.S. dollar as they position for the likelihood that the U.S. Federal Reserve will take steps to flatten the Treasury yield curve. Tesla's battery supplier says it made a battery that can last 16 years and 1 million miles. Tesla's battery supplier said it's made a huge breakthrough in battery technology that could power electric vehicle cells for years to come. Now, you know they ain't going to let that go. That is not going to go down. I don't know. That sounds a little bit too good to be true. Every time Elon Musk say something, it's the opposite. Sorry, I just keep looking at that epic fail during the car show with that new vehicle that looked like a tank, supposed to be shatterproof glass and all this stuff and bulletproof. Dude hits it with a little teeny hammer and the whole window just caves in. Sorry, I don't believe you. And like I said in the previous article here, I think the bond market is in trouble, and that's worldwide, not just the U.S. All right, Macy's says reopened stores performing better than expected. Macy's Inc. said on Tuesday its 450 reopened stores were performing better than expected, giving some respite for the department store operator that reported nearly $1 billion in quarterly operating losses. What does better than expected mean? Meaning that you didn't expect to make, you expected to make 0 sales and you made 3 sales? First quarter earnings coming in. Chewy and Tiffany Company are due. Economic data released today is the US API weekly crude oil stock are due, and the Fed's June meeting starts later. So that is all of the overnight market news. You know how we do. All right. All right, we got a question. When would this impact crypto exchange Binance in Hong Kong? Heck if I know. That's an unknown that is not known. I have no idea how, if, and when this will. The crypto exchanges have been pretty resilient in the face of all of this, so I don't know. I really don't know. So this is some information that has been brought to my attention. I have not had the pleasure to view it yet, but I'll just touch on it briefly. I have information that was submitted to me by one of the listeners, and it's showing crisis actors and saying that the George Floyd situation may be contrived. I have not been able to watch this video yet, but when I do, I will let you know. There is a question that at the end of the video, it appears that when the ambulance shows up, it's not medical personnel that put him in the ambulance. It looks like cops, and normally that wouldn't happen, okay? I've never seen cops put people in an ambulance. I've seen the medical workers, all right? I see them putting people in the ambulance. I have been in an ambulance more times than I care to admit, and I have to say, I've never been put in there by a police officer. It's always been the medical personnel, the ambulance workers, paramedics, not the police. All right. And there were times when police was on the scene and they still did not put me into the ambulance. The ambulance medical workers did that. So I will peep it and then I will let you know what I find. All right. I've been getting hit with a lot of stuff and I'm just sorry. I'm trying to catch up. And keep in mind, too, I'm still in the lab. So I will get to all of these submissions and I will be letting you know what my take is on it. All right, so being that what it is, there's more information supposedly coming to light that we need to get into. Let's take a look here. All right, this is a false flag alert. All right, and this is saying that the Obama Foundation tweeted about George Floyd on May the 17th of 2020, a week before his supposed murder. All right, it says it has been confirmed that the Obama Foundation was tweeting about George Floyd on May the 17th, more than a week before the day Floyd was reportedly killed by a police officer in an act of violence that sparked the worldwide riots we're all witnessing. George Floyd was killed on May the 25th. There's the opening bell for anyone who needs to handle some business. So what was the Obama Foundation doing tweeting about Floyd on May the 17th when nobody knew who in the world he was? He was just an average citizen. All right. And the article has been updated. It says that some people are saying that Twitter retroactively alters images from the history of your timeline when you change to new images. But this explanation doesn't add up. Why weren't all the previous tweets updated to the George Floyd image? And if changing current images can retroactively alter all previous images on Twitter, then isn't it true that no images at all can be trusted on Twitter since they could be retroactively altered? This, combined with the new video analysis that claims George Floyd's death was faked using crisis actors, raises serious questions about the authenticity of this event, which appears to have been planned and carried out for political purposes, right in time for the 2020 election. The Obama Foundation Twitter picture is only a tiny fragment in the larger picture that is now emerging of a pre-planned false flag event. Now, you know how we do on this show. What do? We go in, we deal with real stuff. All right. We don't play around, we deal with it. Okay. We do not gloss over things. We just don't do that. We deal with stuff here. Okay. If you don't like something, well, that is up to you. But we like to investigate things here. We're not conspiracy theorists. We are conspiracy analysts. Taking a quote from my man Lionel here on YouTube. Now, we're gonna touch. We don't have all that much time today because we got to get ready for our 11 o'clock live trading webinar. But we do need to look at a few things that may be uncomfortable for some people. So I'm just going to put that trigger warning out there that where we're going could make some of you upset. Now, we have to do our due diligence. If the information is false, then we will say it is false. If the information is true, then we will have to say it is true. All right? I'm just saying we have to at least investigate. All right. The answer, of course, is that the whole thing was planned in advance. Just like on 9/11, when the media was reporting that the World Trade Center number 7 building had collapsed, even while it was still standing in the frame directly behind them. It looks like the Obama Foundation got its wires crossed and accidentally started tweeting about George Floyd a week in advance. Once the first tweet accidentally went out, they couldn't delete it without raising suspicion about it. So they just left it up and are relying on big tech censorship to make sure nobody learns the truth that this was all planned in advance and rigged as public theater. In fact, there's growing, all right, growing evidence. Didn't say proof, it said evidence, all right? Proof and evidence are two different things, all right? Proof is irrefutable, okay? Irrefutable. Proof is irrefutable. Evidence can be refuted, but can still be damaging. All right, in fact, there is a growing evidence that George Floyd isn't even dead. We'll cover more on that later. We've already documented the fact that actors are now posing as cops as part of a rioting PSYOP, psychological operation, that's being used to brainwash more people into supporting the communist uprising. YouTube is now banning all videos that discuss the Obama Foundation tweet about George Floyd on May 17th, and Facebook has made sure that no one can share any link from naturalnews.com as a further suppression of truthful, independent reporting. I gotta say, y'all, I gotta say, it is very telling, very, very telling when you start protecting people from the truth and preventing them access to it. How do you explain yourself, ladies and gentlemen? They can't. Note that, let's see here. Of course, there's a few places you can go, you guys, if you want to have access to banned videos on the internet, okay? There are a couple of places. One of the places you can go to is a place called Brighton.com. All right, that's one of the places you can go to watch banned videos that have been banned off of social media. All right, that's just one. Another place you can go to if you want to catch other banned. This is probably a little bit larger platform, and that's this one right here. All right, that's banned .video. Okay. So I put both links in the live chat here if you want to be able to see those things. All right, because you got to know the truth and you shouldn't be protected from it. All right, it's all a reminder that when it comes to the unfolding of history, everything you see is rigged, including every mass shooting, the 9/11 attacks, the Oklahoma City bombing, which was actually staged by the FBI, the government raids in Waco, the assassination of JFK, and so on. Your entire human history has been engineered by historical architects, globalists who plot and carry out all the major events of history in order to shape a public narrative that leads to your enslavement. All right? You need to understand that. Okay? I'm just saying, you need to wake the heck up. All right? Because you are being disrespected. They're playing you as if you are straight up stupid, dumb, and have not a brain cell in your body, that you are incapable of intellectual thought or critical thinking. So the question is, was the George Floyd death faked by crisis actors to engineer revolutionary riots? That is the question. All right. And yes, there are numerous videos surfacing that directly question the authenticity of the claimed death of George Floyd by Minneapolis police. Several trending videos appear to reveal striking inconsistencies in the official explanations behind the reported death of Floyd. How do you explain? How do you reconcile these inconsistencies, ladies and gentlemen. These videos appear to reinforce the idea that George Floyd's incident was, if not entirely falsified, most definitely planned and rigged in advance. It is already confirmed the Obama Foundation was tweeting about George Floyd more than a week before he is claimed to have died. Obviously, since Barack Obama doesn't own a time machine, the only way the Obama Foundation could have tweeted about the George Floyd a week before his death is the entire event was planned in advance. Okay? Now, numerous video authors are now spotting stunning inconsistencies in the viral videos that claim to show white cops murdering George Floyd in broad daylight. Without exception, these video authors, many of whom are black, they believe, one, at least one of the police officers was actually a hired crisis actor who has appeared in other staged events in recent years. That's one. Second, that the black man depicted in the viral videos is not, in fact, an individual named George Floyd. And third, that the responding medical personnel were not EMTs, but were, in fact, mere crisis actors wearing police costumes. Now, it should be noted, once again, these are the three issues that are being raised. And they're being raised, many of which by black authors. All right? Okay? I'm just saying. Each of the video's authors shown below reveals still images and video clips that they say supports their claims. Here's an overview of some of the most intriguing videos and a summary of what those videos are saying. Yo, it's not looking good, man, for these individuals. All right. This first video says, globalists are getting desperate to control the masses because too many people are waking up. The person who took the first viral video from directly behind the vehicle, reportedly driven by George Floyd, was a cameraman plant who parked suspiciously close to Floyd's vehicle in order to get video footage that would later be released to the public to spark the riots. Next, a look at the street video surveillance of the scene shows the car allegedly driven by George Floyd parked alongside the sidewalk on the top right of the still frame, with another civilian car parked very closely behind the Floyd car. This is the car from which the viral arrest video was captured. Something is very odd about this vehicle. Video authors explain after filming the video of the arrest of Floyd, this car quietly slips back into traffic and drives away. Note the unusual pattern of the rear right-hand window panel, as well as the location of the white stickers on the bottom right and bottom left of the read window. Does anyone have the license plate number for this vehicle? The next video reveals how no medical equipment was used to assess George Floyd's health condition. Cops, not EMTs, jumped out of the back of the ambulance. No EMTs were present. The medical response was a farce, says the video author. All right, I can speak to that, and I can tell you from a vantage point of authority that that is absolutely 100% true. You do not have police hopping out of an ambulance. All right. You have medical personnel handling medical things. All right. You need medical personnel to assess a medical situation. That's just how that is. And only the coroner can handle the death part. All right. Coroner is, if you got a crime scene, that body can't be moved from the crime scene. I'm sorry. Coroner has to come. Coroner has to pronounce death on it and then do what he do. Crime scene investigators have to come on the site and do what they do. And you got the things you gotta do. They gotta assess and do their thing. You gotta have your, your investigators come out, and there's a lot of things that are involved. You don't just have an incident and then everybody just walks away and drives away. It doesn't work like that. All right. Does not, especially when there's a body. All right. When a body is found, it is automatically going to be viewed as nefarious until proved otherwise. It's a body. The fact that the police were on the scene doesn't matter. It's still a body. We still have to ascertain, is this body a result of murder, or is this something else? Did it die of natural causes? We don't know. And you don't have all the answers until you do an autopsy. You know what you saw happen, but that doesn't mean that's why the person died. See what I'm saying? He could have been poisoned with arsenic, a few minutes before that incident, and that's what killed him. But you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying there are technicalities here that the video authors are noting that is absolutely correct. These inconsistencies are factual. All right. The video claims that the white cop is a crisis actor, not a real cop, and that he also appeared in the Sandy Hook and other false flag events. There was a book written about Sandy Hook. One of my brothers gave it to me. I don't know if I still have it somewhere. I have to find it. Hopefully, Donnie, if you're listening, if you can forward me that, I would really appreciate it. That would be dope. All right, yet another video says that the name George Floyd was faked. It is an anagram for Edge of Glory, the title of a Lady Gaga album that promotes globalist messages against humanity. Lady Gaga has also pushed COVID-19 vaccine mandates along with Bill Gates and the WHO. Okay, the next video shows that Floyd falls down at the right rear wheel of the police car. Then magically, other viral videos show Floyd appearing on the left rear of the car, not the right side where he fell. All right. Then there's another screenshot showing Floyd falling down at the left rear side of the car. All right. But in the most famous video clip released to promote the outrage and the riots, George Floyd appears on the right rear of the police vehicle. The final video reveals a more detailed look at the total hoax behind the fake killing of George Floyd, revealing that people are mysteriously missing from the sidewalk where they were supposed to have been located in order to take the video that became the most popular footage. Even as big tech is banning all analysis that doesn't fit the controlled narrative of the dishonest media, more and more people are using video footage and logic to question the official story. We present these videos in the interest of public debate and discussion. We cannot vouch for every claim made in each of these videos, but we believe that all free people should have the freedom to think for themselves and question official narratives. That's right. You don't need to be protected from the truth. The upshot here is that even though big tech is using extreme censorship to eliminate all viewpoints that don't fit the established narrative, an increasing number of independent analysts are questioning the official story. Was George Floyd really killed that day? Is the man depicted as being murdered by cops really George Floyd? Are the cops crisis actors? Was the man shown in the video actually killed, or is he alive and well to this very day? What else are we not allowed to see or know, given that the media establishment and anti-free speech tech giants are maliciously censoring all content that questions the official narrative? It is easy to see that the timing of these riots is designed to destroy President Trump and cause social chaos in the months leading up to the 2020 election, just like the Black Lives Matter and Antifa were unleashed against the nation in the run-up to the 2016 election. Isn't it amazingly coincidental how the masses are whipped up into an emotional rage every 4 years just as election time comes around again? It begs the obvious question: was the event staged and rigged, then coordinated with a radical left-wing terror network to unleash violence, riots, and mayhem across America, while the lying mainstream media provides the cover by describing such events as peaceful? That's for you to decide. But big tech has already declared that you have no right to see this evidence and make your own decision. They have already decided for you, and no dissenting views are allowed in this left-wing obedience cult. A dangerous obedience cult is now rapidly sweeping across America, resembling Nazi fanaticism. That's why the radical left is now claiming that white silence is violence, meaning that any white people who do not bow down before these alleged stage events and worship the false narrative are to be targeted for condemnation, censorship, or even physical attacks. You are now required to bow down to the left-wing obedience cult, and if you drift the tiniest amount away from the official false narrative, you will be condemned as a racist and a danger to society. We now have entered a dangerous era in America where the radical extremist left is running a mind control training camp across the entire country, demanding absolute obedience to what these many video authors say is completely fabricated hoax. What do you think really happened? That is the big question. Now, I'm going to say this, you guys. I got to tell you this. It doesn't end here. You would think that it would, but it does not end there. We have other things that we need to discuss along these lines. And I'm surprised people aren't talking about it. All right. It has come to my attention also that there's some other weirdness going on around these riots. Someone has brought to my attention some other evidence that supports the idea that the United States is partaking in a ritual against their will and against their knowing. All right. I'm just saying, you got to really wake up and examine things, ladies and gentlemen. The truth doesn't fear examination. The truth is never afraid of examination. As a matter of fact, truth begs you to examine it. All right? It begs you to. Even the Bible begs you to examine it. It asks you to research its validity and its claims. No other holy book on the earth does that. Truth is not afraid of challenge or examination. You only do censorship because they're keeping you away from the truth. They don't want you to get near it. They don't want you to examine it. So they take it away. Evidence is always taken away and hidden because they don't want you to get to the truth. Censorship is not about shutting you up. It's about keeping you away from the truth. Okay? I'm just saying. You got to think about it. The witchcraft of the riots explained. Something else y'all need to be put on to. I'm just saying. This you can't make this stuff up, man. It gets deep. It gets deep, you guys. It gets deep. You got to do the knowledge to this stuff. All right. You don't have a choice. You do not have a choice but to open your eyes. Now, I want to show you something real quick. Because this part right here, oh, this is a problem. This is definitely a problem. This is definitely a problem. But again, people don't like talking about this kind of thing. They say you can't make this stuff up. It is what it is. And, you know, I have to agree. You can't really make this stuff up. It's being presented to you right in your face. They don't care. They do not care. They don't care if you know it. They don't care if you show it. All they care is that you, the sheeple, bow down and get in line. They want you subdued. They don't want you thinking about anything. They want you just to be obedient slaves. But you have a lot to say and do about that. You don't have to take that just lying down. You don't have to be nobody's punk, nobody's gump. All right, you can do something about it. You can say, nah, you know what? We're going to do the knowledge to this. We're not just going to take their word on X, Y, and Z. We're going to think for ourselves. We thank you, but no thank you. We will take it from here. That's the kind of mentality you're going to have. And you don't really have a choice in the matter if you want to remain free. Now, if you don't care about remaining free, then you won't care, and you'll just do whatever. But then you will get what you get with that. So you can't get mad about things that you allow. Take a look at this picture right here. What do you see? Again, I don't hear anyone speaking out against this. You see top Democrats taking a knee in Congress as a tribute to George Floyd. They're doing a Colin Kaepernick. And they're down on one knee, and it's the same knee for the most part, except for the one there on the end. But for the most part, that's what it is. And they're wearing kente cloths. I think that I would think that people would be outraged at them wearing the kente cloths. Number one, because it's racist. Top Democrats taking a knee wearing kente cloths is racist. And it's not just racist, it's extremely racist. Because it's a stereotype. And you're saying that basically that you're saying George Floyd was basically trying to say that not only is he African, but that he comes from the African tribe that the kente cloth hails from. All I'm saying is this, you guys, man. And then I'm going to leave this alone. All right, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to leave it alone. I have African family members and friends, and they don't wear kente cloths. Neither does their tribe. They don't wear kente cloths. And they don't celebrate Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is not an African tradition. It's a man-made tradition made up by one dude back in the 60s. And that's the popularity of your kente cloth to go with it. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, this right here, like I said, is a black stereotypical racist thing to do. You don't even know George Floyd. How do you know his ancestry? How do you know his ancestry? How do you know he's not a dark-skinned Mayan? How do you know he doesn't hail from an Inca tribe? How do you know? How do you know he could be a Samoan? You don't know his nationality. You don't know his genealogy. You just look at a dark-skinned man and automatically put him in the quote-unquote black category. There are dark-skinned nationalities for just about every tribe on the planet. Yes, yes, and yes. Just because a person has more melanin and dark skin does not make them quote-unquote African or black. Again, with the racist stereotypes. You're assuming that this dude is an African. You don't know that. You're assuming that his ancestors were slaves in the United States. How do you know that? How do you know that he is not a Nigerian and he came here? Only his people have only been in this country for, let's say, 20 years. Again, with the racist stereotypes. assuming that just because a person has dark skin, that they are African and or their ancestors were slaves in America. How racist can you get? So that's the only genealogy he can have is African American, whose ancestors may or may not have been slaves. How how dare you? All you can think about is the money. Those two things come to mind. I have to say, man, this is ridiculous. This is absolute. Garbed in African scarves, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer led 24 other Democratic lawmakers in Congress Emancipation Hall and 8 minutes and 46 seconds of silence kneeling to mark the length of time a police officer knelt on top of Floyd's neck. The Democrat leadership joined by the Congressional Black Caucus. So they're okay with the Congressional Black Caucus is okay with this. You see what I'm saying? Your so-called black leadership is not about, they don't care about you. They were joined by the Congressional Black Caucus, then introduced the Justice and Policing Act, which seeks to end police brutality, hold police accountable, improve transparency in policing, according to a statement. Yeah, but you're not holding Congress to the same standard. What about holding the Democrats? What about holding them accountable and improving their transparency? Not, like the Hillary Clinton emails. The far left's defund the police rallying cry gained traction over the weekend, resulting in some Democrat cities to acquiesce to their demands. See, demands. For example, the Minneapolis City Police Council pledged to completely disband its police department on Sunday, calling for the end of policing as we know it. Who told you this first, that this was a ruse to get rid of the police? Who do you bring in after you get rid of the police? You bring in the military. Idiots playing right into the hands of this deep state. I can't believe it. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio also voted to defund the New York Police Department following days of violent rioting and looting in the city. Let me get this straight. So you have unbridled rioting and looting in your city, and your only response is to take the police out of the equation by defunding the police department. So you're going to lay off all of those police. You're not going to have no police, no law and order in your city. Really? So you got a splinter in your finger, and your only response is, you know what? We have to amputate the entire arm. Really? You got a hangnail, but your medical opinion, based on your years of being a surgeon, is we must cut off the entire arm. This is a transformative moment. So the actions today are a beginning. They said on Sunday, I expect us urgently, incessantly work for change for 18 months until the very last day we're here. I expect you to see and feel a different reality in the New York Police Department and in this city as a whole. It's a wonder the Democrats weren't also carrying hot sauce in their pockets during the cringe-worthy pander performance. Is an armed citizenry the answer to an increasingly militarized police force that doesn't protect society? I think you're going to have to say, yeah. Yes, it is. Once again, people, you can't make this stuff up. I can't believe people aren't standing up and talking about this stuff, man. Really? Really? and no one's saying anything. Everything is just whatever. I don't get it. I don't get it. I do not get it. I don't understand how people are allowing this nonsense to continue unchecked. That's the thing about it. It's going unchecked. No one's saying nothing. They don't care. They're just letting it ride, letting it fly. Really? All right. Well, you get what you get with that, ladies and gentlemen. You get what you get with that. I'm just saying. Don't be surprised when you see the UN marching down the street near you and all types of riot gear and tanks and MRAPs and everything else they can get their hands on. All right? Don't say that you weren't warned. After all, this is what you wanted. All right? This is what you asked for. This is what you voted for. All right? So I'm just saying, please wake up, people. At some point, you got to wake up. At some point, you got to. You just can't. You can't be this stupid and naive and dumb and foolish. You can't be. I refuse to believe it. I won't believe it. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it. I don't. I don't want to believe it. I don't want to believe it. It's too powerful. It can't be. This can't be. It can't. Please say it ain't so. All right. We're gonna leave it there for now. I think the how they say a picture says 1,000 words. All right. Right here, you see people begging for their own enslavement. You're right, Dirt. I see you in the live. So I'm just gonna leave y'all with this, man. Just think about this. Do a little bit of digging. Look into some things. Don't just take things at face value. Do some research, man. Think about stuff. Don't just roll out. Don't just say, "Okay, I'll roll over and take it. I guess I'll just take it. Go ahead and do to me whatever you want. I guess it is what it is. I guess we're just gonna have to deal with all of this. Oh well. Oh well. All right. Like I said, you get what you get with that. All right. Don't forget, y'all. We got the live trading thing going on. The webinar at 11 o'clock. All right. So you're gonna definitely want to be on board with that. You're gonna want to get down with that, and you don't want to miss it because we're gonna go in. We're gonna deal with some stuff. And we're going to see what's up with these markets. All right. Remember, PulseWaveTrading.com, and bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I'm out. Peace.